Hi, I am Dr. Sunil Garg. On behalf of Essentials of Acute Care, I welcome you all. In this video, I am going to discuss with you capnography and end-tidal CO2. So what is capnography? Capnography is continuous monitoring of CO2 levels in respiratory gases. And what is end-tidal CO2? End-tidal CO2 is the maximal partial pressure of CO2 in respiratory gases at the end of exhaled breath. Capnography can be used in both intubated and non-intubated patient, and whenever the patient is on artificial airway, capnography should be continuously monitored in all such patients. It is important to understand that usage of capnography are just not limited to monitoring of the airways or the confirmation of the airway placement, but its usage are wide-ranging. The most common method used for the capnography measurement is spectroscopy, and it works on the principle that carbon dioxide absorbs infrared radiation. There are two types of analyzer for spectroscopic measurement. One is side stream and another is a mainstream analyzer. Here you can see in the mainstream CO2 monitoring, the detector is placed in the main tubing, while in the side stream CO2 monitoring, detector and main tubing is connected with the separate tubing, and that's why it is known as side stream CO2 monitoring. Here you can see various devices available for capnography measurement. This one is for side stream analysis, this is for mainstream analysis, and this device is used for non-intubated patient. Through one cannula, oxygen is delivered to the patient, and through other cannula, CO2 is sampled for the capnography measurement. This is normal capnograph. Here you can see there are four phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. Phase 1 is the inspiratory baseline, and the later part of phase 1 is the beginning of expiration. Here you can see in the beginning of expiration, the CO2 concentration remains zero because of the exhalation of the dead space gases. In the phase 2 expiratory upstroke, there is sudden rise in the CO2 concentration because of the exhalation of the dead space gases mixed with the alveolar gases. In the phase 3 or expiratory plateau, the exhalation of alveolar gases occur, and in phase 4 it is expiratory downstroke or the beginning of next inspiration. This is a value of the end tidal CO2. It denotes the maximal partial pressure of CO2 concentration at the end of exhaled breath. Now we know capnography provides two important information. One, it provides value of end tidal CO2, and secondly, it provides continuous waveform. Continuous waveform not only gives information about airway monitoring or airway patency, but it also provides information about status of ventilation, status of perfusion, and status of metabolism. In a healthy patient with normal lung, the value of end tidal CO2 is lower than value of arterial CO2 by 3 to 5 mm of mercury. But in patients with a disease where there is a mismatch between the ventilation and perfusion of the lung, like in patients with the lung disease, patients with pulmonary emboli, and patients with the low cardiac output or hypotension, this difference between the end tidal CO2 and the arterial CO2 is increased. So if the baseline disease condition remains stable, all other parameters of the disease condition remains stable, then end tidal CO2 can be used as a surrogate of arterial CO2 value. Here you can see three different graphs. In graph A, there is sudden reduction in the height of the graph here, or you can say it is drop in the value of end tidal CO2. It indicates either cardiac output has decreased significantly and acutely, or there is a decrease in the pulmonary perfusion, likely due to pulmonary embolism, thus increasing ventilation perfusion mismatch, or in other words, increase in the dead space ventilation due to less perfusion, causing fall in the end tidal CO2 value. In graph B, you can see the height of capnograph is decreasing successively, and in the end there is a flat line. It reflects esophageal intubation. In esophageal intubation, there may also be flat line from the very beginning. In graph C, you can see successive rise in the capnographic trace indicating hypoventilation, or rarely in the appropriate setting of the operation theatre. If this kind of tracing is associated with the high temperature, it may be an indication of malignant hyperpyrexia. Here you can see 4 different capnographs. Here the top of square is flat and it denotes unobstructed clear airways. Here top of the graph is steep and this phase belongs to emptying of alveoli. So any steepness here denotes prolonged alveolar emptying, as may be the case during bronchospasm and when airway is partially obstructed. This is a flat line and it is an indication of various possibilities including dislodged or displaced airway, esophageal intubation or cardiac arrest. Now we see capnography morphology in different conditions. Capnography waveform with a dramatic upsloping plateau phase is seen in bronchospasm, partially blocked airway or endotracheal tube migration into a main bronchus. Capnography waveform with a peak triangular appearance is seen in when there is significant leak around the tracheal tube or tracheostomy tube. Flat capnography trace is seen in whenever there is esophageal intubation, there is displaced tracheal tube or tracheostomy tube, whenever there is disconnected breathing circuit, whenever there is obstructed airway, or the expiratory limb of the breathing circuit has become well blocked, or it may be because of monitor failure when there is presence of liquid in the tubing of a side stream capnograph. A sudden drop in end tidal CO2 with normal tracing morphology suggests drop in lung perfusion, and it can occur either by decrease in the cardiac output or by obstruction to the blood flow in pulmonary circulation due to embolism. It will not only lead to drop in the end tidal CO2, but it also raises the arterial CO2, hence increasing the end tidal arterial CO2 gradient. A steady increase in the end tidal CO2 again with the preserved morphology suggests hypoventilation. As discussed earlier, steady decrease in the end tidal CO2 value followed by the flat line suggests esophageal intubation for a maximum of 6 waveforms after intubation. The capnographic trace is flat during cardiac arrest when there is no cardiac output, but with the ongoing CPR there is attenuated tracing. Failure to identify capnographic tracing during ongoing CPR raises the suspicion that airway is incorrectly placed, but a flat line trace may be seen with ongoing CPR if there is a prolonged cardiac arrest. The application of capnography is multiple and varied. It includes confirmation of tracheal intubation, assessing tracheal tube and tracheostomy patency and position. It is helpful in monitoring adequacy of ventilatory support, whether the patient has hypoventilation, normoventilation, or hyperventilation. It is useful during percutaneous tracheostomy procedure as it ensures the correct placement of tracheal tube. It is useful for monitoring patient with the raised intracranial pressure to achieve the target CO2 level. Monitoring response to the treatment of bronchospasm. It is useful for estimation of the cardiac output provided ventilation remains constant. As we can see during resuscitation, we can assess the volume responsiveness of the patient by looking at the change in the EtCO2 value, hence the change in the cardiac output. It is useful during cardiac arrest for confirmation of airway patency and placement, monitoring ventilation rate during CPR and avoiding hyperventilation as hyperventilation is associated with the adverse outcomes, assessing adequacy of chest compression, identifying return of spontaneous circulation, and it is also helpful during prognostication during CPR. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any feedback, suggestion, comments, or if you have any query, please write down in the comment section box. Once again, thanks for watching this video.